and then we're going to kick off with our next speaker. Okay, while people are coming back, let's just make sure. Vanessa, are you there? I think we're connected, right?
I'm here.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Well, yeah, do you have a presentation you're going to share? Do you want to pull that up?
Perfect.
Very good. And yeah, so yeah, just so you guys know, so my story there about folks that helped me, at least one of those is on right now. Mark and his Pratt and his wife Wendy were part of that support group. And what it was is I was in the Ranching for Profit Executive Link group for a year, and was just blessed to be part of them and Jack Southworth and other fellow ranchers who were there for me at a time when I needed it. So super cool. Yeah, well, okay. So if everybody wants to come on back from break, we're gonna jump in here in just a minute. We've got awesome speaker coming up next. That's so Venessa Wood. Okay. Okay, yep. Welcome back, everybody. We're grateful that you guys are here. Thanks for participating in this. Venessa Wood is representing Ag Women Connect, and we're grateful to have you here. Venessa, you're from Texas, right?
I'm from Texas. Y'all are gonna figure that out real quick.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed. I would have. Yeah. So we've had some different accents on here today. We've had the UK, we've had South America, now we've got Texas. It's kind of its own country, I think somewhere south of here, but no, we're grateful that you're able to be here. So we look forward to hearing from you, and go ahead and run with it.
Well, thank you, Jared. You did an amazing job just speaking. I wasn't able to get on yesterday because I'm sure there's a lot of mothers and fathers on here. And yesterday was the day before our kids started school. And today they went back to school, and I'm so excited for them. And I'm excited that we have a schedule. So here I am. I'm very honored to be able to talk to y'all today and just let you know a little bit about what we do here in Ag Women Connect and everything that I have heard this morning and prior to. We are in alignment in a lot of ways. So I'm just super excited to get started. For those of you who haven't heard of Ag Women Connect, we are America's platform for women in agriculture to share their thoughts, ideas, and stories. I am personally from Lubbock, Texas. I'm the founder of this company, and I'm going to talk a little bit about, whoops, hold on. Let me go back. I'm going to talk a little bit about finding your purpose in life. And for me, that was, that took some time. That took about 12 years of my life. After hearing Jared talk and many others, being a Christian and using our faith in the agriculture industry, I think is much, much needed. And everybody's story is going to be different, but I want to tell you a little bit about mine. So I grew up in the panhandle of Texas and, of course, did all the things 4-H and FFA. I went to two colleges, actually, Clarendon College and Texas Tech University on a horse judging scholarship, and made tons of friends, had the absolute time of my life. We also started the first ranch horse team at Texas Tech. And if you know anything ranch horse, now there are universities all across the nation that have a ranch horse team. And so that was super fun. And then I also helped, I also helped coach the horse judging team at Texas Tech. Met my husband and got married. So I stayed here in Lubbock, Texas. We have two beautiful children. And I'm saying all this because it took me a little bit to find my feet and to find my purpose outside of just being a mother and a wife. And I know when we get there, we look back on our life and we say, oh, we didn't understand it at that time, right? But we look back on it and we see what God was doing and how he was preparing us for our next big thing. And y'all, I literally prayed on my hands and knees for 12 years for him to show me my purpose and what I was supposed to do. And it was hard. I just knew in my heart with every new role or new job or new home-based business that I took on, that it just wasn't enough for me. And I don't mean that in an ungracious way. I just knew that I was scratching the surface. And I'm sure a lot of you probably have felt that way, or you may be at crossroads in your life right now and trying to figure out, what is your next step. And I just want to say to you, like, don't give up your faith. Don't stop praying. Don't stop getting into the word of God, and just keep asking and putting one foot in front of the other. Um, and so I remember the day that God told me to create this incredible company. And I heard Haley McEnany speak at the Hemp Hill Beef Convention um, earlier this year. And she said something that really just touched me. And she said, when you're having the time of your life, you're doing great, finances are good, then sometimes it's a little harder to listen to God. You hear those whispers, but when you're in it and you're going through some trials and tribulations, you're able to hear God a lot more clear. And that's really where I was. I knew that the job that I was in at the time was probably going to phase out. That was just a God intuition for me. And he gave me the idea of Ag Women Connect. And not even 2 months later, we made this business legal. And I started building this company from the ground up. So a lot has happened in the last 3 years, and I'm going to show you just a short little clip of what we've been up to. So relating back to what Jared was saying earlier is, um, you know, sorry, lost my train of thought, is that your story matters. Like, he was able to touch my heart. And mental wellness is something that we for sure advocate for in Ag Women Connect. We've partnered with AgriStress. But storytelling, you guys, is one of the most powerful tools that's free, for one, and that we can do to touch other people's lives, to speak life into other people's lives, and leave a footprint on this world after we leave. And so that's where it started for Ag Women Connect. Our tagline is "Your story matters." Um, and so that just related back to, how I got connected into this company and finding my God-given purpose. And now what was I going to do for others? And being a woman in agriculture, there just wasn't really anything else out there. There was other agriculture groups, but they didn't specifically recognize and celebrate women in agriculture. And so I just found that need, and I started providing an answer and a solution to it. And I began a podcast with rural radio, and Jared was saying others that it truly matters who you surround yourself with and who you're connected to. And I will say I 100% believe in that. I didn't know anything about podcasting, but I had some really good friends advocate for me. The Cowgirl Channel heard about us, and then Sid Miller here in Texas, which is our Texas Ag Commissioner, has a show on RFD TV, and he was talking to me about Ag Women Connect. And so they were so kind enough to reach out to rural radio and to get us a show every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. on rural radio. And so what I get to do is I get the pleasure to shine the light on women in agriculture all across the nation. And you guys, it has been such a godsend to us. It's been amazing for them. And there is not one story that or one person that I've interviewed who has not talked about their faith. And I just think that's incredible. We are a Christian-based company, and we are not afraid to say that. We put that in our marketing. And something that I wanted to say to you, just as a business owner and as somebody who is highly involved in social media and our marketing, is that we've got to put our blinders on, y'all. And I love to refer back, to a racehorse when they have their blinders on. I have a specific memory when I was young at the AQHA headquarters in Amarillo, Texas. They had a brand new exhibit of their racehorse exhibit. And there was just something in my gut that I loved about that place. And I wanted to be a jockey. And mind you, I was probably 9 years old, and I grew out of that when I was about 12. I figured out that I was not going to be a jockey. I was going to be a little bit too tall for that. But that memory popped up in my head a few months ago when I was putting together this presentation. And I was like, maybe that memory wasn't so much about being a jockey, but perhaps putting your blinders on and surrounding yourself with people who are going to love you for who you are, who are going to encourage you, and maybe too, who have been where you want to be. Because honestly, that's the only way that we're going to grow. The only way that we're going to grow is if, one, there's mentors out there who are willing to champion other women in agriculture. And for two, if on the other side, if we're open enough to take advice and to take criticism and to show up for ourselves and the things that we believe in and learn from those people. So put your blinders on. I also believe that God, of course, has given everybody a talent, a gift in this life. And to me, I feel like it's a disappointment if we don't use those God-given talents. And so I just want to tell you that if you are in those crossroads and you're thinking about what is my next step or what can I do better, use those God-given talents. And just know that nothing kills our spirit except our own failure to keep it alive. So we can think about all the things, we could talk about all the things, but if we don't take action behind it, it's never going to change. We're never going to change. We're never going to inch that needle forward. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy, but the Lord has come so that we may have life and live it to the fullest. So how do we make a difference in agriculture? As I said earlier, we got to show up for ourselves, guys. There's only so much that we can do as far as talking and conversing. But I know that all of us on here are passionate and we want to learn and grow. That's why you're here today. 80% of success is just showing up. So congratulations. I'm really glad that you're on this because it shows that you want to grow. And as I said earlier, we got to take action. And also, it's not only just showing up for ourselves, it's showing up and being responsible and doing what you say you're going to do and showing up for others, especially in agriculture. We have so many things going on in this industry right now. We have tons of division. We have tons of mis and disinformation out there. And so it's important to support those who are out there advocating, who are out there educating others, because I can tell you right now, firsthand, just from my experience and the women who have come to this platform, they are getting attacked every day. So they need a strong Christian core group of women to surround them when times get low. And this is my favorite Bible verse. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Philippians 4:13. Did you know that women or men who network are 2 to 3 times more, or I'm sorry, 2 to 3 times a month are 70% more successful than those who don't? That statistic right there is huge. And then I came across this information. I'm a big Joyce Myers listener, and she was talking about um, comparison for one. I think that that is something that is really easy to do, especially if you're on social media and you are trying to market your business. You're looking around and seeing what other people are doing, which is great. That can give you some awesome insight and inspiration, but it also can let you down if you do too much of it. And I just wanted to say, even to like the mothers out there who are just trying to get through the day, who are helping their husbands on the farm or helping run the ranch or the farm, that your job is important. And no matter what you're doing or how good or how bad you're doing, that you're in the place that you need to be right now in that moment, and to live in that moment. Especially if you have a family, and to be thankful in the daily actions and duties that serve the Lord. Opportunities will come up when you remain faithful and continue to be bold and courageous. Praise and be raised, or complain and remain the same. So we have many facets of Ag Women Connects, like I mentioned earlier, and I'm going to go a little bit more into that. I've got some really powerful women who have been on Tucker Carlson. They've been on Fox News. They've been on Newsmax. They're out there educating. They're talking about what is really going on in agriculture and what the farmers and ranchers are facing. And one thing that we stay true to is seeking and speaking the truth in agriculture. So a great way to kind of break that down is mis, dis, and mal information, how you can decipher from those three. And before you share a post, or before you make a post, or before you speak in front of a group, or whatever it is you are, whatever it is that you are doing, whether it's education or advocacy, to check your resources. I have several women on my team where if I don't know the answer, they are my fact checkers. Like, they went to college for that reason specifically, and they are researchers basically 24/7. And so we would just want to make sure that anything that we put out there with Ag Women Connect, that we are staying true to agriculture and what the farmers and ranchers are doing. So misinformation refers to false information that is not needed, that is not intended to cause harm. So this is basically just your everyday mistake. Disinformation is false information that is intended to manipulate, cause damage, or guide people, organizations, and countries in the wrong direction. A perfect example, of disinformation is, our food labeling system, and I get really fired up about that. But I'll keep it really low key right now. But when you go to the grocery store, you've got chicken that says no hormones, and now they're even labeling water that says gluten free. Like, y'all, come on, give me a break. But obviously, they are playing on the markets. Just that they're uneducated on that, right? So they're playing on that to for their sales. So malinformation refers to information that stems from the truth, but is often exaggerated in a way that misleads and causes potential harm. I think we could all agree that a lot of this is going on right now. So just be aware, and check in with your friends that actually know the truth. And I think we can all make a difference here, honestly. I know that we are here in Ag Women Connect. You just have to be bold and courageous enough to say it. So seeking and speaking the truth, a lot of people say, well, I just get really fired up about some of these things that are going on in agriculture, but Venessa, I'm not an extrovert or I'm not a public speaker. There is no way that I would get online and talk to a group of people or even get in front of a group of people. So how do I still fight for the industry that I love? And y'all, it's as common as just having a decent and wholesome conversation in your home with your children, with your grandchildren, with your nieces and nephews, with your parents. Also, just amongst conversation with your friends and family, or if you are ready to speak out about the things that you're passionate about, that's one of the reasons why we have Ag Talk. Your story matters. There's several platforms that you can speak in within Ag Women Connects, and we invite you to be a part of that. So one thing that has really helped me build my business and be successful at it is knowing your strengths and weaknesses. And I am not good at the details. So yes, details are needed, but I am not a tedious person. And within my journey with Ag Women Connect, I have absolutely loved how God has aligned me with people within my own network that have believed in our mission, that have taken on my weaknesses and helped me grow this company. For instance, with the podcast, as I said, I didn't know anything about it, but this beautiful woman right here, Krista, is from Arizona, and she knew all the things podcast. And so she's actually my editor and she's an ambassador for Ag Women Connect. And I love just how all of that worked. Crystal is actually from Florida and she is my chief of operations. And ironically enough, I just love her enthusiasm and her willingness to know more about agriculture because she didn't grow up in an ag industry or with an ag background, but yet she is one of my strongest advocates. And she is the reason, a really big reason why this company runs the way it does. So lean into your network, y'all. If you don't know the answer, someone within your network, as Jared said earlier, will have that answer, but you have to be strong enough and you have to be bold enough to ask for help. Do not be afraid to delegate. That is another thing. And I mean, you can apply this to anything. If you're a farmer and rancher right now listening, you can delegate some things out and it's going to be okay. Even if people make mistakes, that's just part of growing your business. And if you keep them close to you, then you can work through it together. So I have learned how to delegate, and that was not something that was easy for me because in the beginning, I love to be in control of everything, and not so much now. I've got the faith in others that they will do the job. And give grace. So know that, as I said earlier, people will make mistakes, but to give grace to them and help champion them on the way because we are all growing together. So I've got an amazing conference coming up. I don't know if I'm allowed to promote this, but it really goes hand in hand with my presentation.
Please do.
Do what?
Please do.
Okay, awesome. All right, so this was a huge leap of faith for me, y'all. I have an Ag Women Connects Foundation that actually gives back to our members who have faced unforeseen circumstances, deaths, natural fire, things like that. One of my ambassadors last year lost her son literally like 2 months before we had our gala, and we were able to raise $8,000 for her that night. And that's the reason why I created this foundation. And so, and then of course, I mean, the fires in California that are going on right now, the fires that the Texas Panhandle had faced, we were able to give back to those guys. And so I want to continue to do that. But I want to do it in a much bigger way. It would be absolutely incredible if I could give, $50,000 to a community that went through a natural disaster, such as a tornado or a fire. And so we are working that way into our next gala, and we've actually attached a conference to it. So Before I forget, on our gala as well, we're giving 5 scholarships to junior ambassador women who would like to represent our company, and we're representing those women at the gala as well. So it starts September 26th through the 28th. It's in Fort Worth, Texas, at the Will Rogers Coliseum in the Pioneer Room. It's going to be an incredible time. Thursday night, we're going to kick it off at the Paint Horse headquarters in the famous Stockyards. And we're going to have a private reception for our members and our guest speakers. And it's Meet the Ambassadors night. And then Friday, we're going to kick everything off at 1 o'clock. It goes from 1 to 7. And we are flying women in from all over the country to come speak about ag marketing, ag education, you name it, sales. We're gonna have an equine. We're gonna have an equine panel. We're really going to touch on a little bit of everything, and we're definitely touching on policy as well. That leads into Saturday too. The one thing that I'm really excited about Saturday is that we are going to have a prayer breakfast, and I'm just thrilled about it. I've got 3 adorable women that are going to come in and sing and worship and praise, and we're going to thank the Lord for bringing us all together, and that's how we're going to kick off that day. And then the conference ends at 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon, but then we turn around and we meet together for the gala at 6 o'clock. And I don't know if any of y'all follow Gatlin Didier from Oklahoma and his family, but they are our guest speakers for that night. And I know that him and his granny, and his cousin are going to do an incredible job speaking about their journey and talking about speaking the truth in agriculture. So it's going to be it's going to be intense, but it's going to be extremely exciting, just high energy conference. And we hope that y'all will come to it.
So it just for women?
No, it's for women and men. We actually have some
Okay.
men speakers as well.
Okay.
And we're definitely inviting the men to be a part of it. And we want them to come to the gala with their wives. That's just a little blurb about us. This was at our gala last year in Lubbock. It was so much fun. I love this. Be an encourager, not an influencer. And then this is a great way that you can follow us.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, thank you, Vanessa. That is great. And it looks like you also have something on the gift page. Is that right? Do you want to talk about that real quick? What that is when people click on the link?
Sure. So, yes, your gift is an Ag Women Connect Inspire membership, and we can get you on the podcast. So I can start scheduling that for later on this fall. If you have a story that you want to tell, not like I said, not everybody wants a story to be shared with the rest of the world, but if that is you, we can definitely set that up. And then you'll get a free membership. You can attend all of our events. We have chapters that are all across the United States. They're popping up everywhere. So you can plug into those chapters, and then you'll also get an Ag Women Connect t-shirt.
That is pretty awesome. So yeah, check that out. It looks like Margot dropped that in the chat. Pretty cool. What do you see as the greatest challenge? We surveyed people earlier, but what do you see as the greatest challenge facing agriculture today?
Oh, well, I mean, a lot of what you said, Jared, is the mental illness. I mean, it is absolutely a crisis, and not enough people are speaking about it. I had a Texas Tech student reach out and interview me last week, and he just took the state of Texas and did research on. There's 400 agriculture companies within Texas that use social media. And he said, y'all, out of those 400 companies, that there were only 9 that were posting about mental illness in agriculture and giving resources out. Only 9. And I think a lesser percent had shared over like 4 times. And that's how he found me. He was like, your name just kept popping up anytime that, we were talking about mental wellness. It was like Ag Women Connect kept popping up. And I would have never guessed that. I mean, we do talk about it quite a bit, especially on the podcast and whatnot. But there just needs to be more people advocating for that. And then I touched on another issue earlier. We really have to stop the division within our own industry. We have to stop pointing fingers at, people who, and this is just an example. I mean, I can throw out several examples, but um, I think in the beef industry, there's a lot going on. There's people marketing their beef on social media and on websites, which is amazing. I love that. But to do false advertising such as buy our beef because our beef doesn't have the mRNA vaccine in it, y'all, like we can't do that. That's false advertising. And so we've seen a lot of that going on, where, buy our beef because of this, and this, when actually like none of the beef have, those hormones in it. So that's just an example, but I mean, you can even take it into the equine industry. And so as a whole, something that we stand for in Ag Women Connect is just to be kind to one another and just, to make sure that we're speaking the truth and not creating that division.
Yeah, well, that's good. I mean, it's neat to see. I don't know what percentage on this summit are males or females, but it appears, it's probably about half and half.
Mhm.
Somebody's asking,
Oh,
what's the name of your podcast?
so it is Ag Talk, Your Story Matters. And you can listen to all the fresh episodes on a Saturday on Rural Radio at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. But then if you miss it, that's okay because it's posted to our website, to Spotify, to Apple the following Tuesday. And I think we have close to 70 episodes up on there.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. All
Yeah.
right.
I just interviewed
Oh,
the dairy
nice.
doc from, she's a dairy vet from Arizona this last Tuesday. So her interview is going to be incredible. There you go.
Okay, got it. Margot put it in there. So give it a listen, you guys. Well, Vanessa, thank you very much. You've added a ton of value here to the summit today. We appreciate you. So go check out on the gift page her offer, and it sure seems like a great way to be able to connect with fellow women.
That's
And
right.
yeah, that event sounds awesome. So
We
good
would
job for doing
love
it.
to see y'all. Yeah.
I know it takes a lot of work to do that, and that's wow. Hats off to you for pulling that off. So
My
blessings.
team's been incredible.
Yeah, well, blessings to you and yours. I pray that it's a success and you continue to grow and just experience a ton of abundance in what you do.
Thank you.